The Harry Potter franchise is easily one of the most defining pieces of media to come out of the last 2 decades, bringing in an estimated $25 billion since the release of the first book in 1997, via a multitude of avenues, including films, books, video games, and even theme parks. It's safe to say that nobody will be forgetting The Boy Who Lived in a hurry. However, when it comes to video games, the series has never really made much of a mark. There have been 16 official game releases bearing the Harry Potter name, at least 16 I'm going to count, and none of them have really been AAA releases or even releases of notable quality. So let's take a look back at the history of Harry Potter video games. Four years after the release of the Philosopher's Stone, or Sorcerer's Stone for my American viewers, the first Harry Potter game hit shelves. One word can be easily used to sum up this title, and that's average. The game was clearly rushed to release on the same day as the film's release, and it was not ready. The game, while serviceable, lacked much of the polish, the magic and the thrill of its movie counterpart. Similarly, a year later the Chamber of Secrets released alongside the film, and similarly the year development cycle was not enough, as a serviceable middle-of-the-road game was released. The year after saw something new from Harry Potter, something different and exciting. A good game at last. Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup is a game that I remember fondly, and actually did buy again recently, and can confirm, for a 16-year-old game, it holds up. The first spin-off title didn't actually really feature Harry Potter all that much, and I feel in a way, that was a strength. It didn't tie itself to the expected tropes of the films, and could exist independently as a game that focused on mechanics. We then came back for 5 years of mediocrity, as The Prisoner of Azkaban, The Goblet of Fire, The Order of the Phoenix and The Half-Blood Prince all released alongside their movie counterparts, and none of which scored above a 50% or a 5 out of 10 on major reviewers. I think I've covered why these games weren't good. They were rushed, relatively low-effort imitations of the films, and offered very little to build upon the magics of the books. In 2010, fans were thrown a bone as another good game was released. Sandwiching the final film-inspired games was Harry Potter Lego, a tried and tested series from other IPs that translated brilliantly to the world of Harry Potter, for children and adults alike. The games were playful and fun, they captured the childlike wonder and playfulness of the first books, and while they failed to build into a more adult action series that the later books and films did, this didn't stop the game being brilliant. 2 Deathly Hallows games released around this time, neither were very good. This left a hole to be filled, however, as the books were long finished now and the films had also come to their conclusion. The natural progression was for the fandom of Harry Potter to live on in video game format, as well as spin-off films and stage shows. However, this was not to be, as instead, in the 5 years following the end of the film series, 3 relatively poor motion controller games released in Harry Potter for Kinect, Book of Spells and Book of Potions. While they were a neat idea, they weren't really anything to write home about. And that was it for non-mobile titles. As of 2019, we've yet to see another. 2016's Fantastic Beasts: Case from the Wizarding World was something a bit different, being a mobile title that sat outside the Harry Potter story arc. The game saw the player portray a Ministry member inspecting magical creatures for the Ministry of Magic. The game was okay. As far as mobile games go at least, it offered something a bit different, but there was little substance to be had and players soon got tired. 2 years later and yet another mobile game graced our screens. However, this time the community was 7 years out of a good piece of Harry Potter media, and they were starving for something to sink their teeth into. Hype was abundant for Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery. People were sorely disappointed. The game was nothing more than a waiting simulator, designed to rip money from your wallet with malicious microtransactions. One example was a scene early in the game in which the player is choked by a devil's snare, which depletes all of their in-game energy. They are then forced to either wait 30 minutes for their energy to rebuild to continue, or pay real money to carry on right away. The game itself wasn't terrible. There was a plot there to be followed, it featured many characters we're familiar with, and it allowed for the player's actions to change the world around them. However, most of this was essentially behind a paywall, unless you are willing to play the game at a snail's pace, waiting for energy to build up, which many were not. Overall, the game did not go down well. It was not what the fans wanted, and it really felt like the final nail in the coffin for Harry Potter video games. It was to date the most recent official game release. So where do we stand now? Well, I'll talk to you about 3 games, one that's coming soon, one that is likely coming in the near future, and one the fans have wanted for a long time, and I hope that we get one day, but I'm doubtful. First up is Niantic of Pokemon Go fame's new title, Harry Potter Wizards Unite. Drawing heavily from Pokemon Go, it's another augmented reality game that incorporates real-world locations and movement into the gameplay. While there's no real story available, the game does allow some choice and customization, as players select their Hogwarts house and adult profession before they set off around the world, taking down criminals and capturing mythical creatures that have escaped. While the game isn't exactly what many die-hard fans are looking for in terms of immersion and world building, it does serve a purpose. It's a very casual game that will allow players to connect with the world on their morning commute or while walking the dog. The game will release sometime in 2019, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a bit excited. In 2018, a leaked trailer released for a Harry Potter game that brought the internet to a frenzy. The game, thought to be titled Harry Potter Magic Awakened, is everything Harry Potter video game fans have wanted since 2001. An incredibly detailed, free-to-explore Hogwarts, Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley all make appearances in the trailer. So do large mythical creatures, a full character creation screen, magic classes, magical combat, and so much more. Magic Awakened is the game we want. It's the game we deserve after sitting through so many poor movie tie-ins. The game is rumoured to be set in the Victorian age, so will sit completely outside of the lore of the Harry Potter films, as well as the Fantastic Beasts spin-offs, which will allow the game its own identity. Supposedly, it will allow for the player to create a character that attends the school, choose their house, and explore using their own free will. I'm hoping for something similar to a magical bully. In Fable-esque gameplay, you can make good or evil choices that will lead you down a path of light or dark, and affect story and gameplay as a result. The two studios rumoured to be developing the title are either British developer Rocksteady of Batman Arkham series fame, or Avalanche Software, an American studio owned by Warner Brothers and used to make Disney tie-ins in the past. However, the game is yet to be officially announced, and I just hope that this isn't a cancelled project that never sees the light of day. Finally, I'll briefly talk about a game that me and my friends talked about on the schoolyard back in the early 2000s, and I still have never given up hope for. That's a Harry Potter themed MMO RPG. The world lends itself so well to the genre, a game in which players join Hogwarts houses, or potentially Durmstrang, Ilvermorny, or any of the other magical schools. They spend a few hours playing through Hogwarts, competing in inter-house events, and learning the game, before they graduate and go out into the world to complete quests, working for the Ministry or some other magical agency. Well, at this point I've pretty much given up on this ever being a thing, as we currently sit 8 years since the release of the final film, but I can always hope. So, what do you think? Do you have any fond memories of any of the games I've talked about? What are your hopes for Harry Potter in terms of video games? Please subscribe and comment down below, I'd love to know. If you'd like to support me on Patreon, then please visit bit.ly/TMYTPatreon. My first 3 supporters will unlock a special perk by being able to select a theme for an upcoming City Skylines, Prison Architect or Planet Coaster video. Or perhaps a history video for a game or series that you want to see. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with another video.